So have you seen these Callaway Supersoft Max golf balls before? They're physically larger than a standard golf ball. Here's an example. This is a Callaway Supersoft Max. And here's a regular Callaway Supersoft. So there are reasons why you would buy a Supersoft Max golf ball. Callaway says that the Supersoft Max gives some of the longest distance for slow swing speeds. They made the golf ball physically larger to optimize the launch for slower swing speed players. And there's been talk that the max height of the golf ball is higher than a standard Supersoft. And so I wanted to put this to the test. So I took these balls out to Golf Tech and we ran some tests using the GCQuad. I'm gonna hit 7 shots with each ball, 7 with the Callaway Supersoft Max in yellow, and then 7 more with the Callaway Supersoft in standard white. I think you're gonna wanna stick around to the end because the results are actually quite surprising. They surprised me. They might surprise you too. So let's get into it. Hey, DT here with Creaser Golf. We're gonna do something new today. We're at Golf Tech in Austin. We're gonna take a look at comparing the Callaway Supersoft Max, which I've got in yellow so we can easily track that, versus the Supersoft itself in terms of max height and other various metrics. Golf Tech uses the GCQuad, and so we'll hit some 7-irons in both and compare and contrast what we're looking at here. So stick with me. So we're gonna go Supersoft Max first. All right, so that was the Callaway Supersoft Max in yellow. We'll track the stats and see what we can find. So here's the breakdown of the Supersoft Max, each of the 7 shots that I hit. We've got the 7 shots along the top here, and we've got all the different stats that the GCQuad was throwing out to me, anywhere from ball speed to launch angle, push-pull, backspin, side spin, the carry yardage, the total yardage, the peak height, and how much offline I was. I then, in the final column of this spreadsheet, did an average of all of the 7 shots. You'll notice that as I worked into these 7 shots, my ball speed increased pretty substantially till I got to 114 miles per hour in the 5th strike. And then I seem to dial it back in the 6th and 7th strikes. What I've noticed with my 7-iron is if I can get a ball speed of 115 or higher, I am usually carrying the ball approximately 170 yards. Anything below that, it's not a guarantee that I can pull off a shot of 170 yard carry with a 7-iron. So if we just take a look at the averages, I had a 102 mile per hour ball speed average. The backspin average was just over 3,000 RPMs, average carry of 149 yards, and average total of 172 yards, which between you and me is pretty subpar, and a peak height of only 20 yards. And here's the Callaway Supersoft in standard white. Got the 7-iron TaylorMade P790s. That one felt good. 171 carry. $173 carry. Another 173 carry. 116 ball speed, that's good. $179 carry, 120 ball speed, 7-iron. That's seems a little insane. $172 carry, 116 ball speed. I'll do one more. And again, this is the TaylorMade P790 7-iron. We're using the Callaway Supersoft ball right now. $170 carry, 114 ball speed. That's the GCQuad. Sometimes it shows a different result on the screen, which is odd. So I gotta say, I like hitting that Supersoft better than the Supersoft Max. Felt like I did a little bit of a better job with that ball. Could have been that the Supersoft Max was yellow. I'm not used to hitting the yellow ball. But the Callaway Supersoft performed nicely. Let's see what the breakdown of the stats tell us. So let's take a look at the actual breakdown of the Supersoft, the regular Supersoft ball. So again, 7 strikes along the top row here, the various specs coming off the GCQuad, including ball speed and launch angle, so on and so forth. And I'll go over here to the averages in the final column. We have an average ball speed of 116, a launch angle of 20 degrees, an average RPM of 4,300 RPMs, an average carry of 179, and an average total distance of 197, with a max height average of 32. So if you just go with the averages, clearly I'm gonna go with the Supersoft. I seem to hit it much better. I will say that clearly my ball speed was much higher than the Supersoft Max. And so if I go back over to the Supersoft Max, and if I hone in on the strike that I did have at 114 mile per hour ball speed, you can then see that the differences between the Supersoft Max, the larger, the physically larger ball, and the Supersoft regular are not as large as the averages would lead you to believe. And so if I'm striking this Supersoft Max at 114 mile per hour ball speed, my average backspin 4,200, RPM, average carry of 178, average total of 195, and peak height or max height of 32.5. And so really that was what the averages were for the Supersoft. I was getting maybe a little bit more spin with the Supersoft regular. I was getting a little bit more distance, 1 yard carry more. I was getting a little bit more on total distance, and the average on the Supersoft itself, peak height, was 32. So a half yard difference there. So I think it's funny that the GCQuad is actually showing something different on the actual device versus what's on the screen. You may have noticed that in the flashes of the individual strikes, especially when I was talking about what was coming off the GCQuad, when I get down and look at that versus what I was seeing up on the screen. But I'm glad that I did this test indoors with a launch monitor. I don't think you could actually do this on the course. You wouldn't have this level of detail, if you will, on the course. For me, and I remember this back to my full bag fitting that I did, and it really comes down to, at the end of the day, what looks and feels better to you. And clearly I was striking the Supersoft regular much better than the Supersoft Max, and it just felt better at the end of the day. You know, and one of the reasons why I went with the Supersoft Max to begin with, I actually purchased a dozen of these just in standard white. I purchased a dozen of the yellow ones because I thought that it actually might make it easier for me to see my ball in the fairway or find it when I went out to get it. And I do have a slower swing speed, but consistent with what we've seen in these stats, if I can get my swing speed up so that my ball speed is up to a respectable level of 115 or above, then I can be hitting the ball above average in terms of a typical golfer for a 7-iron in this case. The other thing that I've noticed about the Supersoft Max is you can see that I've marked up my regular Supersoft with a ball marking tool, and the Supersoft Max is actually a little bit too big, so it's really kind of difficult to mark that ball up. And just a tip for you, if you do buy the Supersoft Max and you might have one of those ball marking alignment tools, I did a review on one of these. I'll leave a card above so you can check it out, but it makes it more difficult with the Supersoft Max because it's slightly larger physically than the Supersoft. Hey, what ball are you playing? Drop a comment below and let us know what you found to be the best ball for you. Thanks for stopping by Creaser Golf. Really appreciate it.